Hey everyone, Mark Holloway, CEO of Meridian Medical Staffing, and I'm here with one of my senior recruiters, Steve Ollinger, and we're out. Obviously, we're not in Denver. We're in our Southern California office, actually outside there. We're right on the beach. We're not in prison, but it's a secured area, so it looks like we're kind of in prison, doesn't it? But we've got a pier right behind us and some lifeguard towers, so we're having a little bit of fun, kind of relaxing. Thought we'd do a quick video about what we saw a couple days ago back in our Denver office. And I'll just use an example. I know you're pretty involved with this one, but we had a nurse that was offered a job with another company. She's worked for us, and thank goodness she trusts us. She called and said, hey, something doesn't make sense. I'm going to break it down for you guys real quick without having a board behind me. But the bottom line was that this nurse was being offered a $47 an hour position per hour in Alaska, which sounded great. It is great. It's a good pay rate. They were going to give her $600 to get to the assignment for travel tax-free reimbursement. They were cleverly going to pay her $250 after her first week to kind of guarantee she got there. So clearly, they had a little bit of trust issues. But I get it. People can flake out, and I can see an agency can protect themselves that way. But and then $600 on the way back. Yeah. What I didn't like about it, and we found out afterwards, we're trying to figure out how this company's paying this much money because we all are working off the same basic bill rate. So I'm looking at this going, this doesn't make sense. I can't figure it out. We're a little thin. We're the lowest paying company I know. Lowest paying? Talk about it. We're the lowest margin company, highest paying out there at 20%. So I'm looking at this margin that this company, look at their effort, they're below 20%. I'm like, I've never heard of a company that has a lower margin that pays higher than we do. So I was really going, a little nuts about it. Like something's not making sense. Well, we figured out what it was pretty quickly. They were paying the nurse $35 of that $47 tax-free, which means $12 an hour taxable. Everything else in the assignment was going to be tax-free. Now, this was a 16-week assignment, so we did the math real quick. Basically, over the course of 16 weeks, just on a 36-hour work week, she was going to make a little over $5,000 taxable over 16 weeks. That's 4 months, right? And she was going to make over $20,000 tax-free. Now, I don't know about you, but this is America. And by the way, what a beautiful country and state that you get to live in, and I get to visit a lot, thank goodness. But it's America. You don't get to make, by the way, we did the math, 76% of this nurse's guaranteed hours were going to be tax-free, 24% taxable. No way, right? So the bottom line is that these companies will do this for you to take home a crazy amount of money. Fortunately, this nurse was a veteran traveler. And the first thing she called her recruiter in Denver office said, hey, something's not making sense. But we see this a lot, don't we? Yeah. Where these nurses are getting kind of sucked into, what you're going to make hourly, and they don't really put the thought process behind how. How is it that I can be making that much more? All these companies seem to care about is trying to one-up each other with what a nurse can take home without giving any consideration whatsoever to the nurse and her future and her taxes. I mean, think about this, people. If you work for that company 4 assignments and you only showed $20,000 and you're making over $100,000, imagine if you worked for that company for years and years and years, and the IRS came knocking.
All it takes is one big oops.
One big oops. Yeah. By the way, you owe about, let's see, the taxable income on 4 years, we're talking about $300,000, and then the taxes on that $300,000. Yeah. They want it today, by the way.
Yeah.
And the interest starts right away. So that's what you're trying to avoid. So just be careful with saying yes, yes, yes all day long, because you're only thinking about how much you're taking home. And you've got some experience in this. We're talking about basically that bait and switch kind of situation. We're gonna have a whole different conversation about that in a few minutes, but this one is more about watch out for something that seems like it's too good to be true. And tell me a little bit about what you've experienced. We've had a couple of nurses that have said that I've got a great offer. It's more about you as a recruiter breaking it down for them and then really walking them through, here's what this company's doing, here's what they should be doing, by the way, here's what we do.
Exactly. I mean, the one advantage I think we have is that we pay people overtime, the true overtime rate that they should get paid at, that most companies do not pay people.
And what's funny about this is that overtime for this nurse, she was going to make $47 an hour. Her overtime rate was, guess what? $55 an hour.
Yeah.
$8 more to work over 40 hours a week. And the rest of that just stayed with the company. So they were getting her. By the way, they were working off a little over a 26% margin as opposed to the 20% margin they were on. So we did the math for them. She's going with our company. She's sticking with us, and thank goodness she kind of realized what she was looking at. But tell me more about it. So in our case, on 47, you don't have to do the math, but it'd be time and a half of $47 an hour for over overtime, right?
Exactly.
Which is the way it should be. And again, that's the way it's supposed to work in this world. You guys have to start questioning things about why is it that a company's offering us stuff, because they can. And I think the answer is because nurses are saying yes to these kinds of things all day long.
Yeah.
And our answer is stop saying yes. Call a company that's going to educate you on what, what's out there, what's available, and more importantly, what to be made aware of. You guys, 1990 is a long time ago.
Yeah.
And nowadays companies have gotten very clever at fabricating and kind of forming an offer that looks good on net take home,
yeah,
or even on gross. So our answer is watch out. Here's a perfect example of something that looked too good to be true, and guess what?
It was.
It was. It absolutely was. So
yeah, if you take a position, if you're not showing a bunch of money, just there's a bunch of things that could happen. You'll never car loans, house.
Yeah,
anytime you need to show anything, you don't show anything. So therefore, you're just hurting yourself and your family.
Well, and as you guys may or may not know, Steve worked for one of the big companies, and he has a lot of experience. The reason why he came over to Meridian Medical Staffing is he was kind of tired of this whole mentality of let's get the nurse, let's make as much money as we can. Our philosophy is make a nurse really happy, and guess what? By word of mouth, they're going to bring all their friends over because we're doing better. We're giving them more money. We're giving them more piece of that pie, and it's working, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's a little bit different philosophy than what you've experienced in the past, and a little bit nicer environment to work in. And that's our whole philosophy, is that you don't have to necessarily, get gotten. I'm trying to clean up my language a little bit here, but every time you take an assignment, you guys all have your guard up, and I get it. We know why, right? Steve lived a career, of travel nurse recruiting, of trying to, break through that guard and almost kind of, being taught how to make the most from the nurses at the nurse's expense. So, not the case. So anyway, what I'm getting at is watch out for an offer where they're putting 76% of your income tax-free. It's crazy. You got to question that stuff, and don't sign off on that. Tell the company, let's do it the right way. Because by the way, here's the secret, and this is the big bottom line boom on this video, is that company is only paying payroll taxes on that $12 an hour too. So they're saving a ton of taxable dollars because you agreed to let them do it that way. So all that $20,000, they're not paying a penny on this. They're saving huge amounts of payroll money erroneously.
Which also means if something happens to them and they get,
If a nurse says, yep, this is the way I want you to pay me, then they're going to do it all day long. Stop agreeing and settling for what's become the norm in travel nursing, and start, looking for something better. Call us. You talk to any of our recruiters, they'll have the exact same mentality. They'll walk you through the bill rate right down to our 20% margin, your pay rate. And the rest is here. That's why we're one of the fastest growing travel nursing companies out there, because we're doing it the right way. Call us to find out why. Again, we appreciate this. Like us on our Facebook page, which is Meridian Medical Staffing. LinkedIn, find us. Steve Olinger, great recruiter. If you guys haven't talked to Steve, give him a call, and he'll take real good care of you. All right.
Always.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.